All right. What's going on? Welcome to the Scent Bubble. Today we've got some things to talk about. Now, this was a topic brought up in the TikTok community, which a lot of you guys are going to see in my episode of This Week in Fragrance, which should drop probably tomorrow or the day after. For those of you guys who haven't seen This Week in Fragrance yet, especially my TikTok audience, this is basically where I talk about things like the fragrances that I'm purchasing, different community discussion that folks are debating and discussing that I think are relevant to participators in the fragrance community, and also things to expect for the future. As you guys know, we're about to hit 5K on YouTube with about 2 million views, so that's a great milestone for me. I want to celebrate that by celebrating the community that's responsible for it, so I will be doing my largest giveaway yet. So stay tuned for that. But what's interesting about this episode I'm shooting right now is I'm letting my TikTok audience tune in to kind of see how I shoot content. So keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about something that was brought up yesterday that I think will be relevant for most of you guys out there. It's a topic mostly discussed by content creators and business owners, but I think maybe some of the concepts within that discussion, you might find some practical takeaways from it, whether you're a business owner or not. So I just thought I'd bring it to the YouTube audience. So there was a lot of discussion recently, and also honestly in the last week, about support for local businesses as it relates to like perfumers and brick and mortars, folks that sell fragrances, and various things within the fragrance industry. It could be oils, a lot of different stuff like that. And the community outcry, mainly from the creatives and the business owners, was feeling a lack of support from either friends, family, or kind of their extension of family, which would be like their online community supporters. And just kind of trying to think through, why are people not supporting? What can we do to support? What does support look like? And I think this discussion is kind of one of those things where it's like the business owner has a perspective on it, the general community has a perspective on it, but also the buyer, like the friends and family that have been called to support. And I think it's a sticky situation because often when we talk about local business and just the difficulties that come with running your own business, a lot of times we talk from one side of the perspective, either the buyer, the community, or the business owner. And there's a lot of gray area in this conversation that I think is like super not black and white. Like it's not just prescriptive where we can say people should just be supporting their friends' businesses, point blank, period. I think a bigger question is, what does support look like? And does it look the same for everybody? And if it does or does not, should it? So I wanted to bring up a couple of things that I think would be helpful. Again, this is not everything. This is, as you guys know, a lot of times I'll think for like a week before I'll do my topics of discussion. But sometimes I feel like a topic is so pressing, I just want to almost hear myself vent about it. Because if I don't turn the camera on, many of you guys know, I'll forget, because we drop like, I think now like 2 to 6 videos every single day. And we got the Discord going. I got all my business relationships outside of this with the fragrance industry and coordinating events and things like that. So I'm going to grab one more thing in my notes real quick, and then we're going to get into this discussion of all things surrounding supporting people in the fragrance industry that sell products and or services. All right, so in the conversation here, I want to talk about the owner's sentiment really quickly. So the owner's sentiment is pretty straightforward. Business owners feel like the people closest to them should be assisting in marketing, purchasing products and services, and consistently, I think that's the key word, advocating for their brand. And so I wanted to talk about just, number one, I absolutely amen that. But I think it's important we amen like very particular things when it comes to support, because I think we assume we all are on the same page in terms of what we mean by support. Um, Maybe on one end, we think support means finances. Maybe another end, we mean marketing and advocation. I think it's important we establish clarity, and I'll explain why as we develop through this. So, business owners are saying, hey, help us out. Buy my products, buy my services, promote me, advocate, help me, assist me. Um, I just want to talk about some of the harsh realities of running a business. And because a lot of businesses fail and the percentage is so high, I think we really need to look in the mirror and start analyzing why our business is failing, so that as a business owner, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. And it's not a shock to you when you experience this in the first few years of running a business, but also so that you and your supporters can work together so that you can navigate a lot of those harsh realities and hurdles effectively. Because running an independent business is absolutely the gauntlet of harsh. And if you are intimidated, shocked, or not prepared for that, you will get eaten alive. This is not a casual occupation. You know, running an independent business is very cutthroat. It's very rewarding. It's very refreshing. It allows for a lot of great things to happen in your life if you can run a successful business, but it comes at a cost. And often some of the heaviest costs come right up front, smack dab in your face the moment you start promoting your brand and business. And that, I think, contributes to the conversation of advocacy and helping, you know, your fellow business owner be successful. Clarity is the more clarity you have when running a business about your audience, yourself, and the hurdles that you're going to face, the more practical and real you can get in determining the strategies you need to put forth to succeed as a business from all sides of the field. Like, I look at it like a successful business, you are the quarterback, but there are different levels of assistance around you. But if you don't know how to deploy those resources or establish those resources, playing by yourself, you know, what good is one quarterback on the field when you don't have a team? So let's talk about these real quick. And then I'm going to try to make the conversation fairly short, because really I'm trying to just start the conversation. Here's some harsh realities about independent businesses. Most people that you know and love will not support you until it's too late. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that by the time your business starts to become successful or is on a trajectory of success that's very seeable publicly, by the time they step in, you'll have such a sour taste in your mouth that you don't really even want it at that point. Or it will indicate something about your level of relationship and support with that person that will almost kind of that's almost the end of the relationship in terms of the clarity has been established, what level of support and how they will support you. And if they're not supporting you until you're in the midst of success, then that's not the type of support we're talking about now. We're talking about, you know, started from the bottom, now we're here level of support, not supporting the business when it's the easiest to support. I want to show you guys some stats real quick. In year one of most independent businesses, 20 to 22% of businesses in the first year fail. And these stats are generous. I actually think these are quite skewed and the number's actually higher. But year one, 20 to 22% of businesses will fail in year one. From year 2 to 5, 48 to 50% of businesses will fail. And in year 6 to 10, 65 to 70% of businesses will fail. Again, I think those numbers are very generous, but what it speaks to is that most of the hurdles and struggles that you're going to deal with your business are in that first 5 years, and what you do in that time is absolutely critical. You have to be an all-star, you have to have clarity, you have to deploy resources, and you have to really be able to bounce back from a lot of adversity that you're going to see. So I just thought those numbers would be interesting. So if you're seeing businesses fail left and right, or you are a business owner who's failing, You might be one of those statistics, and it's actually more common than you think. So we need to start taking this very seriously if you're a business owner, knowing why the businesses are failing. I think the support is a component of that, but nonetheless, I just thought I'd bring that up. Unfortunately, most people who have a great product or service fail because a majority of their business success is based upon visibility, industry relationships, and the ability to pivot in the midst of adversity. I'm going to repeat that in a different language. Even if you break the hurdle of creating a product that's worthy of purchasing or a service that's worthy of purchasing, even if you get to that milestone, which it is a milestone, inventing a product that actually solves a problem or providing a service that meets a need. There's a lot of people trying to start businesses out there. They haven't even solved a problem or provide a service. So if you make it that far, that's a huge, that is a level of success, but it's nowhere near enough. And that is because a lot of a business's success is tied to your brand's visibility, industry connections and relationships, both in and out of the industry, and your ability to pivot when certain strategies that you deploy fail. Because as you're running a business, a lot of the ways that you plan to be successful, you're going to run into certain walls and hurdles that if you don't jump over them and pivot, you'll be eaten alive. There's a lot of different ways that businesses are successful. And one of the biggest reasons is the businesses that can pivot in adversity and create new strategy and be able to change their ways and adapt to different market conditions is key. So why do I say all that? I say all that to say that before we even get into the conversation of supporting your fellow business owner, it's important for both parties to realize kind of the state of emergency of the situation. If you decide to be an independent business, it's almost like deciding to be a teacher. You really have to have a unrelenting passion that goes beyond money and beyond narrow-minded pursuits, because it is not for the faint of heart. And the quicker you can understand that as a supporter of a friend of yours who is in local business, the better you'll know how to support and encourage that business financially and non-financially. And the quicker as a business owner, you will not be surprised by the various adversities, such as a lack of support that would come, and you can persevere through that. And also, you might be one of the rare exceptions where you can generate a level of support, whether it's from your close family and friends or not. You still have the skills and tools to generate support elsewhere when you're not getting it from the people who you expect it from the most. Let's pivot perspectives for half a second and let's talk about the buyer. And I'm going to throw myself as the example here because sometimes we talk so hypothetical, we don't get practical. So I'm going to give you guys my sentiment towards, me as a supporter of an independent business. And I'm going to give you some things that I think through as a potential buyer and supporter of said friends, local business products and services. So, number one, the first thing I ask is, and again, this is all off the premise that just because my friend has a business doesn't mean I'm going to support it. I live by a certain set of morals, and it's in such a way that I'm going to evaluate a business. And just because you're my friend, that doesn't automatically create a pass for me to start behaving in a certain way or supporting in a certain way that disregards, in my opinion, best practices or any kind of morals or things like that. But one of the things I evaluate is quality, right? Is my friend's business creating a quality product and a quality service? If it is not, this is the question that I think summarizes this whole conversation in terms of where I want to go. I think it's important we clarify and establish what support actually looks like for your friend's business. Because sometimes financially supporting a business is actually hurting a business that lacks some of these requirements that I'm about to tell you. So for instance, if somebody doesn't have a quality product or a quality service, what support really should look like is me advocating to that person, hey, look, I love you, I care about you, I want your business to succeed, but listen, I'm noticing that you could step it up in these areas, and I think that if you don't, this will actually hurt your business success. And so support might have to not be financial for half a second so that you can help somebody, or even if you don't have the business acumen to give that support, maybe you say, hey, I notice, something feels off about this. Maybe you might want to reach out to fellow business owners to kind of address some of these issues. And that might be a level of support that's absolutely necessary in that moment. But I'm evaluating, is there a quality product or a quality service? If not, my support changes. Okay. Another thing, I think business owners need to get better at coaching their audience. Meaning, if you need support, coach your audience as to how you need the support. But I want to take it a step further. Let's say you need money. Hey, if you want to support me, buy my products. I genuinely think that in a world, especially in the United States, where marketing is so ridiculously rampant, like you look at senior citizens today, their phones are off the hook. You go to somebody's house who's like 65 plus, their cell phone or their house phone is ringing all day with spam and people saying, give me money. When you go to fast food restaurants, every fast food restaurant now is asking for a tip. Would you like to donate to hospitals? Would you like to donate to colleges? Would you like to donate to my nephew's, fund? Everyone's asking for money. So just because you're my friend and you're asking me for money, if I'm a good friend, I should definitely consider that and probably do it in most scenarios. But why simply leave it at that? I want to push you business owners to take it another step further in terms of creativity. If you need financial support, set up some type of system where it's extremely convenient and easy to support you. So maybe it might be something as simple as, well, I need you to buy my services, but guess what? Here's a QR code. You don't have to go home, look up my website, add to cart, etc. Here's a QR code. Scan it right here. It'll take you directly to the product. By the way, I have a video next to the product explaining its quality, the testimony of the story, etc. And it's so easy that when you look at it for a couple minutes of your time, if you do want to support, you can do it right away. Speeding up the process, valuing people's time. So I think, maybe the support is you want people to post about your business on their social media. Hey, I created a quick video. It's about a minute long and it tells you exactly how, the type of things you might want to post about my company. Matter of fact, here's a couple of promotional flyers if you want to be able to change it up or you want to pick something that's cool for you. Hey, I've tailor-made a super easy process for you to promote my business if you support. And I think that's always a really important thing to say too. Shout outs to Michael Paul at Day 3. He always tells me when I'm evaluating a fragrance, hey, please try this. We want you to be totally transparent and honest. And if you love it, could you talk about it? Talk about just setting it all up to where he's establishing that he doesn't need it. He's thanking me for my time. He's valuing my time and he's letting me be honest. I think we can set up the process of support to be easier for your fellow friends and family. And if it's easy at that level, then when you take it public and start to ask for support, it'll be much easier to do because it's valuing people's time. And also, the deeper you go with the ask by trying to provide value or convenience first, it's something worthy of supporting. Like the sentiment is man, this guy actually values my time, my energy, and he actually created a process for me to maybe either enjoy this or that respects my time. I think that that's super undervalued in business. Creating systems of convenience for your supporters to be able to tap in. And I think about this on my YouTube channel, like with my Discord server. How can I make it so that somebody who's never used Discord before can pop in, immediately understand what's going on, and immediately get value? If somebody is going to support and market to me or market my brand, how can I make it fun for them to do so it's not like pulling teeth? If somebody wants to send me a fragrance, how can I make it super easy for companies and brands to reach out to me and know what to expect and where to send the product to? Okay, I'm going to list it in all my descriptions. How can I celebrate my customers more? Like if I have subscribers, I love celebrating subscribers. Hey, shout outs to such and such. He just mailed me this pack. He didn't even have to do it, but it's supporters like these who allow me to keep going. That's another side of, if you want to be supported, celebrate your supporters to when they do the little things, even if it's just one post. Like I hear a lot of complaints about, man, somebody just posted my business one time. Well, what did you do when they did that? Did you just say, oh, cool, they supported me? Like what I would have done immediately in that moment is if somebody took the time to just even repost, I would have celebrated that moment, made it a big deal, showed them how much it really meant to me so that they might want to do it again. Hey, I can't believe that really changed that person's life when I did that gesture to them of support. I'm going to do it again because it was so easy and look how much value it gave that person. I think that's like super underestimated as well from business owners, the power of advocating for and celebrating your supporters, even when they just do the tiniest of things, because that can grow into something that your business benefits from long-term instead of short-term. Lastly, I want to just say this. How motivated business owners are to succeed in business? That's a question I often ask myself. How motivated is this business owner to be successful? I'm going to match your energy. If I feel like from the outside looking in, you're not doing everything you can to be successful, then I look at my support as an enabler for your laziness. I'm going to say that again. If I don't see you going hard for your business, I look at my support as an enabler for your laziness. And that's not the kind of support you deserve. I really think that's a pill that's very hard for business owners to swallow, especially, and listen, I get it. Having a successful business is extremely hard. And so that's a harsh reality to swallow. But that is the reality. Like, you need to be your best mascot. And if you don't look like that, most people ain't going to support you. Like, it takes a lot of consistency of seeing a brand and seeing their hard work and dedication for people to step up and support. Most people aren't just gesturally looking to support people because they're being asked to support and tip and fund and assist brands all the dang time. And so a lot of people are just tired of supporting because they don't really get any value out of it. And most people aren't Samaritans in the way where they're just looking around to be philanthropists and bless people. Like, I'm in a position where I like to just go around and bless people. But I know that though that has the ability to impact a local business, what's more helpful is giving them actual value that will grow their business and give them tools to continue that growth so that it's not just a moment of blessing, but it's actually a legacy of success. I want to break all that down way deeper in a later video, but I think I'll stop there. Again, I want to just say this and then we're going to wrap up. I think it's important here to remember how you support your friends and family is critical to a business's success. And most of the time, it's not money, it's time, attention, and resources. And so evaluate that. Have a conversation with your friend and figure out a way to help them be successful if you decide that you want to help them to be successful because you feel like it's a worthy cause. And unfortunately, we live in a time where just being somebody's friend is not always worthy enough of people's time and energy because we all have lives. I mean, shoot, I run like 5 independent businesses. I have 2 kids. I support a lot of my family. I'm married. Like, by the time I get to social media, my tank is on E. So any support that you guys see from me is, consider it a big deal, because with the last bit of time I have for my relief in the day, I choose to support. And so last thing, and we'll wrap up here. I do wish that we could create a culture of support. Regardless of everything I just said and getting all technical, I do think there's absolutely merit in supporting people who are running local businesses. I just think oftentimes, from what I can see, the support shouldn't necessarily be financial in some cases, because there's parts of the business that need to be addressed. And the more success they have financially will simply be a smokescreen from addressing real business problems that are hindering longevity with that business. Anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Talk to me. I do talk back. As you guys know, typical SB fashion, I was tangenting all over the place. So if there's something that stood out to you guys in particular, I would love for you guys to comment below. Let's get a conversation started. Definitely talk to me, because I do talk back, and let's bring value to the community, both to the business owners, to the consumers, and to the community as a whole, so that we can just be educated, so that we're building our character, participating in community with positivity and love and encouragement and knowledge and support. And let's create the fragrance community that we want to create. All right, guys, love y'all. Stay tuned for next episode. And until next time, peace.